Okay, my friends. So good to see you. Happy new moment. Happy New Year. All right. So starting with this quote from Katie. This is from I Need Your Love. Is That True? Heaven. This is wonderful. I could stay here forever. Hell. This is not quite perfect. So how do you get back to heaven? To begin with, just notice the thoughts that take you away from it. You don't have to believe everything your thoughts tell you. Just become familiar with the particular thoughts you use to deprive yourself of happiness. It may seem strange at first to get to know yourself in this way, but becoming familiar with your stressful thoughts will show you the way home to everything you need. Isn't that awesome? So I love this time of year and how everyone's talking about, what you want, what your word is for 2025, what's, all of that. And just noticing some of the same things, probably that familiar, even if you're a person who long ago no longer does resolutions or any of that business. So you've got a sense of how time works and how the mind works, what's going on. But I really like this idea of noticing where we think life isn't good enough. Heaven, this is wonderful. I could stay here forever. Hell, this is not quite perfect. So just notice anything that percolates as you see the images in your mind, something you've had an experience of, maybe something very reliably stressful that comes up. You have a thought, situation, and you think that shouldn't be the way it is. That should be different. Larry.
Morning. I always have thoughts about how things should be different.
Yes.
So here I am.
Yeah.
Uh, in your email, you wrote, as you were announcing this session, what gets in the way of a good life. So I made a list,
Oh,
about 10 or
fantastic.
12 things. Well, there's about 10, at least 10 on there. But, um, generically, it's worry, just generically worry. And then
Yeah.
specifically, an incurable illness or death.
Yeah. Wow.
That's probably at the top of the list.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So good. Yeah. Thank you. Love that you did that exercise. Yeah. What does get between me and what I say is a good life? Charlotte.
Hi. Um, I just had something come up this morning. Bill and I, like a couple of years ago, moved to the coast. We've been either desert or mountain living prior to that. And this morning, he said, his body doesn't do well on the coast. And it just triggered me. And I'm like, then why don't you go somewhere else? I'm like pissed.
Mm,
I'm not exactly like, I don't know. Maybe
well,
it's I think he's blaming me or something for the way he feels or
I love, getting pissed, it's, I'm threatened somehow. Uh, and so that's all right to be kind of, it's something. It's like going, "Gee, eh," you know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, so,
This is an ongoing too. Like he said this over and over, and I'm like, you
uh,
know, and sometimes I'm kind and I go, you need to go where you need to go to take care of yourself. That's why we came to the coast, was so it works better for my body. And we had been living the other for, I don't know, 13 years.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds like something. It's kind of like just visions or pictures of something changing, you know. He wants to leave. Might be
Yeah,
a,
yeah, that's good.
yeah, he wants to leave.
Thanks.
Simple. Yes. Yeah. Cindy.
Yeah, hi. Hello, greetings, everyone. I think what gets in my way is I have this hamster wheel in my head, and it's kind of non-specific, but it's like something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. Like ha having a difficult time identifying exactly what it is that's wrong. So I can
Uh,
control it or fix it, I guess. I don't know, but just that hamster wheel in my head.
yeah. Well, that's okay too. Sometimes it becomes clear, like, yeah, let me tell you what's wrong, says the mind, and it'll go into it, but just that there's a general cloud of that can be a good one. I don't know. It's really interesting. Just watching. Something's wrong. Yeah. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Robin.
Good morning, everybody. I've spent so much of my life, I'm 68, and most of my life has been spent with if this happens, then I will be happy. So it would sound like, if I found love, then I would be happy. Now that I found love, if I get married, then I will be happy. Then 5 years later, it was like, if I get divorced, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
If I own a home, then I will be happy. And it's then, no, if I sell my home, then I will be happy. So that kind of if then thinking really contributes to a lot of unhappiness in my life. The
Yeah.
other thing that contributes is two other things. One is I assume that I know what's going to be good for me and fruitful for me, and that's often incorrect. The things that I pursue, it's often really incorrect. They're not good for me, and they don't make me happy. And then the other thing is resentment and blame. To blame other people or exterior circumstances for the choices that I make, and then the choices have consequences, and I feel bad, and it's hard for me to take responsibility for those choices. So all of that contributes to being really unhappy. And this helps me challenge my thinking. But it also motivates me to take responsibility and make change. So thank you very much for this forum.
You are welcome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Wow. Yeah. It's just that general feeling. Like we learned I remember learning it in algebra in school. If X, then Y. It's like, right. Janet.
Hello. I was just thinking it's when I'm feeling balanced and centered, and then I'm exposed to other people's suffering, and then I wish I could do more. I instantly go into this feeling of helplessness, kind of, and that's a
Great,
hard one.
great one. Yeah, 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 good one. Thank you. So they are suffering. Yeah, they need help. All right, Christine.
Morning. Yeah, so we're not traveling like we talked about, and it's because of my husband's health.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like my life would be better
Mhm.
or fuller if we were traveling.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Very good one.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you. Christina.
My life would be better if my daughter would talk to me.
Yes.
then I wouldn't have the pity from my friends saying, "Oh, that must be terrible," or "I don't know how you do it," which is almost worse. You
Yeah,
almost feel like you have to justify my well-being.
sure. Yeah,
Uh, Yeah.
such a good one. Okay. All right. Well, so everybody find just a extension of the sentence, my life would be better if, and just notice if your mind judges the thing that comes after and just write it anyway. You can even make a list and you'll get to pick one. My life would be better if.
I'm going to stick with the generic if I didn't worry. Okay. Or
Ah,
you're looking, is that all right?
yeah, sure. You bet.
Everyone. My
Hello.
life would be better if people were nice and kind like, all the time.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Bonnie says, if then, I know that one well. If I could lose weight, if I got in shape, if my kids were happier, if I was more positive, it never ends. Yeah. Megan, my life would be better if I could figure out how to be happy. Interesting one. Yes. Okay. Cindy.
Yeah, my life would be better if I could pay attention to what my body needs, at the core level.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Charlotte.
I'm going to go with it would be better if Bill would make a decision, and that's on staying or leaving because I feel like it's up in the air all the time.
Ah, okay. Yep. Okay. So just to keep it simple, pick just one, even though you notice a whole list coming out. Once you get started, sometimes it can go and go and go. That's all right. Isn't it amazing to see how if it's on the task of looking for improvement, it can do it beautifully, and see the alternate reality here. But this thing, my life would be better if. So Mary says my migraine condition was miraculously cured. And can't see. My life would be better if I had higher self-esteem. Lori felt more comfortable around others. Randy, my life would be better if we got a dog. I've been missing our last dog after she died. And Janet, interesting the difference between picking one that is something I can do something about, versus something someone else can do something about. This is true. Yes, that is interesting. Yeah, I might have more agency because I can do something about this one here. Although I'd question that there's somebody else doing their thing, true, or life doing whatever it does. I'm not in charge of it. I have no control over it. And I guess the one thing I think of I can do about it is I can look at that and see how I don't like it and watch my own thinking around it. Yeah. And who knows what that does? I don't know. It's interesting. Bonnie, if I was authentic. Paula, if I was more gentle with myself and others. Okay. So notice the situations when this is underway. This happens regularly. You know what it's like. when you believe my life would be better if that was different. You see how that my life would be better if that changed. And you can have your specific concept there to make it very simple. Adrian says, my life would be better if I stopped comparing and judging my life. Yeah. So just notice that mechanism, that thing that happens. My life would be better if. Okay. And now see if that is actually true. What a funny question. Is it true? I mean, just check. When you're the one who is the final answer on any of this. And it's totally, there's not a right or wrong answer. It might be, oh, yes, of course. What are you talking about? Just see. Your life would be better if. Is it true?
No.
Hmm. How'd you find your no?
Well, he's a terrible traveler.
I see, yes.
And yet this is still there, like I want to travel.
Uh-huh, yes.
And I'm still surprised I want to bring him.
Uh-huh. Well, it might be like an old soundtrack.
It is. It is. It's like we talked about this, remember?
Yes.
This
Yeah,
is what we're supposed to be doing.
yes.
Yeah, it is an old soundtrack. It's still there.
Yeah, we got it in the record collection. It's okay. Uh, Larry.
Yes, no, and maybe.
Oh.
Permitted. I think it's a no because I went to, I'd be better if I didn't worry about Carol, my wife, because I got specific.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, it's kind of like saying my happiness depends on,
Hmm. Yes.
which I'm not at all sure of.
Ah.
Intellectually, I see no, it doesn't, but I don't live that way or feel that way.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
just don't know. So I think I'd have to say no
Okay. Yeah.
with reservations.
Yes. And that's a really sweet thing to notice, just something in your mind when you're looking. Okay, got it, but the sensation in the body is there, or that's all right. Just noticing all of it. Just noticing how that feels, looks, seems. And if you've got a yes, like, yeah, Mary's, yes, of course. What are you talking about? How can you even ask, is it true? All right. Um, See if you can absolutely know for all time this is the case. Your life would be better if, and it's all right if it's still a yes. Paula says, is it true? Who knows? Yeah. Christina, yes, my life would be better because then I could interact with my granddaughter. Yeah. So that's all right. Get to keep just but the way it's seen is the way it's seen. All right. So notice what happens when you think it. See those images that come to mind about a change or a shift or how it would be different, what it looks like. Just notice what happens when you think the thought, what you're afraid of if it doesn't change. How do you react? My life would be better if. Patty, were you trying to find? No? Okay. Christina.
Well, it's pretty interesting because I go to the spot, my daughter talks to me, but then I realize that she's unwell. So then I'm very sad. So if uh, if I go there where she should talk to me, then I know that I'm interacting with someone who's unwell,
Hmm.
which wouldn't be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Like something's really challenging about it. And
that exactly.
yeah, good one. The way that's kind of like we get a little crack into that, is it absolutely true situation?
So then it's not absolutely true
Mm-hmm.
that it would be better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Larry said, the yes, no, and the maybe. So yes, for my granddaughter, it'd be better for her, of course. But that's not, it's my life
Mm-hmm.
that I have to come back to.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. Boy, such a good one. Somebody's not talking to you and I want this reconciliation to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And is that okay? Yeah. Christine.
Yeah, what I'm afraid is going to happen is I won't live out like my dreams, the places that I want to see, and
Mm, yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also to spend the rest of my life doing what we're doing, which doesn't feel like enough. So yeah, it doesn't feel like it's full enough. So yeah, that just sounds so like that's the part that really I drop inside. I feel just this weight.
I know. So
I
good.
don't want to do this like this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want more to my life. Yeah.
So powerful to see. Yeah. This.
Yeah, and that keeps resurfacing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great to just, let that come on in and hmm.
Yeah, it's a, because I haven't resigned myself, because I like I have a life too.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do I do?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what do I do from here forward?
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
No, good. Yeah. Cindy.
Yeah, my thought was, if I could pay attention to what my body needs, and if it's true, of course, that's true. I would feel better if I could pay attention to my body. It's absolutely true. But when you ask the question, notice what happens to you when you think about it. Where I went is I feel shame about that because I do know how to meditate. I do know mindfulness. I do practice it regularly, actually. So I have the ability. I can do it. But when I think that thought, I just go to frustration and embarrassment and shame.
Yeah. When it looks like it's not happening or when the volume turns down on it, or there's absence of it somehow, this attention, I think, oh, shameful,
Yeah.
not good. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, good to notice. Gail.
So I had a really hard time settling on one. They just sort of kept coming and hitting and being different. And then I was like, we're going to get to the questions. I've got to think of something really quickly. And I was like, oh, my life would be better if I didn't overthink everything. And I've just been sitting in this, like, it's so exhausting, especially when like there's a decision that needs to be made or there's a timeline or there's a time crunch, and procrastination versus motivating because and it's there's so much of this thinking, um
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to the next question so that I can stop thinking about my thinking.
Yes. Really powerful. Yeah. Thinking about thinking. Larry.
Dread.
Oh,
Dread. I went to the gym this morning. Last night, Carol said, "Don't worry if you're late, I'll feed the dogs." Went to the gym, came home. She's not up. I fed the dogs. They get two feedings, fed them a second time. She's not up. Walk in, see if she's breathing. She seems to be breathing. Leave, still not up. Oh my God, she died. What will I do? How can I handle a dead person? I don't want her to be dead. What should I do? I should have done this sooner because maybe I could have prevented her death. And it's like this whole cascade of
yeah.
just horror show,
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah. And how far it goes is pretty amazing. You know, it has you dealing with a dead body, right? You know, yeah, it's huge.
And
Amazing.
then she woke up.
Yes. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, good description. Charlotte.
So dread was my word. That I'm thinking Bill is going to leave, and I'm just dreading that time. And I'm, when that happens, and yet I'm going like, I'm worrying about it this whole time. I can't let it go. Not that I can't. At some point, I guess I will. Of just that future without him, and then I'm going to be alone, and the fear comes up, and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Those images of what you're most afraid of. Yeah. Dread. Good word. Dread. Doomed, Not good. Whatever's happening here is not good. That thing over there would be better. That image or picture that I have in my mind would be better. Robin says, my life would be better if I incorporated the principle of resolute in daily practice. Yes. All right. Megan, is it true? Yes. Duh. Okay. So just noticing, aware of what happens when you think it. And that simple question, does this bring peace? Does that bring peace to your life? To think about that other different way? Yeah, can't see so good. My life would be better if I got what I want. Yes. Yes. Let's notice. Janet.
So I was working on the idea that my life would be better if everyone else was flourishing, thinking specifically about my daughter who's struggling a bit. And then and so then it's like, well, would it though? And then I had my no was like, no, because then she wouldn't call me as much. I wouldn't get to talk to her as much, and that actually use that as a means, empathy as a means of connection with other people.
Wow.
So that was, because I was doing yes and no to see the difference. And that was,
yeah. How cool. Very interesting. Love that. Yeah. What if it's a yes? Boom. What if it's a no? Yeah. Okay. Yvette.
There would be, I said that people should be kind all the time, but every day there's like a murder. Someone killing this. The US is like shooting. There's a shooting every day almost.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this impossible to ask for something this absolute? Something could be relative, or this is the intellect again.
Yeah.
But it's just if people were kind all the time, there'd be no news, I guess. Maybe less gossip,
Yeah.
That's
And it definitely circles up around, I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but this thing that I see here shootings and murder and, yeah, violent, terrifying death. And then, but just notice how it's so sure that that is unkind. And I know that sounds bonkers, but it's like it just, I think Larry said at the beginning, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. Death equals wrong somehow, you know?
Like killing, murdering is wrong.
Yes, killing and murdering. And yeah,
And then you think that's unkind.
yeah. And that's, I get it. We have language, and of course, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that old question. Like, if I had a choice and I was going to go into this life, and in this life there was going to be murdering happening, killing, would I rather be the person holding the gun or the knife, or would I rather be the person receiving?
Right. Rather be beaten than be the beater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who am I really, like, what looks like the greatest amount of stress? Just the person with that much pain within them, So it's like what I see. Yeah, that looks so uncomfortable. So to put it mildly, right? Looks like so torturous. Um, and we can see they're believing all their stressful thinking. They're believing this is necessary to be violent here, or just something's bursting out, violence for, yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's just so interesting to look and see, and then we'll say, that's true, very bad, terrible, wrong, and just notice it, just be noticing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, every day, how horrible wars are happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
suffering, but it's death. Yeah, yeah, sudden death. All right, well, just noticing all those images. Here, this is underway. Can't be good, horrible. Robin. Gotta bring yourself off mute. So
Call my name.
there you are.
Ah, sorry. I thought you said Ron.
Oh, yeah, Robin. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that question of, would you rather be the one holding the gun or the knife, or would you rather be the one receiving it? And I have been the one who's been angry and felt frustrated and powerless and out of control. Um, and literally at one point defended my life with a gun. I have also been the recipient of tremendous violence. And I've also have taken a stand for other people and have taken a stand as a healer. All of those are part of life. They're all part of life.
Mm.
And they all have brought experience and hopefully some wisdom, although they also have brought a lot of pain. So I don't know if that contributes anything.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Like just being aware of I'm the one that feels violent, that's either done it or has felt that way. And I know what that's like, and it's so painful. And I'm the one receiving it. I suppose if you're dead, we don't know, boom, off you go. Who knows what you're feeling? Maybe it's amazing. Some people say it is. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm just looking and noticing pain, suffering. So Megan says, when I consider whether I can absolutely know my life would be better if I could figure out how to be happy. No, I don't know. what would better even look like? The statement assumes I don't know how to be happy, or I should be happy all the time. I love that. Right. Like it seems I know what happy is, and that I'm thinking it's not here. Christina says, Anne Lamott, I love Annie Lamott, writes a piece on dieting every New Year, and her point is about feeling happy. If you are not happy with yourself at 180, then you won't be happy either at 120. Meaning, if you can't find joy now, how will you find joy in the future then? Yes, this is not it, and this is it. I just you know, had seeing how the mind kind of puts things in categories so incredibly fast. This is not it, and this is it. This is better, and this is worse. Better, worse, better, worse, better. You know, like it's like if it would just show you a long line of things that happen as experiences in life, and you just immediately go, yeah, you take the left, that's happy, right? Not happy. Robin, did you still have your hand up, Robin, or is that just from before? Okay.
I lowered it.
Okay, awesome. Larry.
I just wanted to say what Megan said and what you just said, just so great, because maybe I'm happy.
Right.
It's like before I've said I want to be like Katie. Well, maybe I am.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so interesting to think about
Yeah.
maybe I just don't know.
Right.
I'm comparing it to something, I guess. So
Yeah.
this can't be it. As long as I'm comparing, this can't be it.
Yeah.
But maybe I am it.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. Mary.
Hi. So what you just said really struck me. I think it's the organizing principle of my life that I feel like I've experienced what brings me joy and happiness and pleasure and peace. And I've experienced what doesn't and what detracts from it. And so it seems sensible to work toward having more of those good things and less of those bad things. And I'm really in that. But what in doing this work today, I noticed that when you said, does this bring you peace or stress? I realized, oh, this brings me stress because I'm always working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constant project that I'm working on where I think I know what's going to be better and what's going to bring me happiness and how I can get the best or the closest to my version of paradise I could possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. I still will never get there completely, but at least I could get closer and it could get better. Like I am completely living that way. And it is stressful because it's work. And one of the things I've noticed recently is those thoughts that have to engage to do that work interfere with a different state of being, of openness and presence and peace that has nothing to do with my version of what happiness is.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, I don't think I understood that till this minute. And I still don't feel ready to give it up. I mean, I describe it as the theme of my life is Paradise Lost because I feel like I've known paradise. I know what paradise is. I've had it and I want it back and I want it in my future.
Yes.
And in this particular instance, yeah, chronic migraine interferes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all swirling around for me right now. But it's like, yeah, our thoughts interfere with something else that we don't know about, another way. Like, and that's what Byron Katie is trying to tell us. Like,
yeah,
there's another way. There's another.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't involve thinking.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
involve
much.
getting your own way, like I want what I want. I know what makes me happy and I want it.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So,
Well
yeah.
said. You got it. Yeah. Patty.
Well, I think I've sort of come to a similar conclusion as Mary, that the war is in my head. So I'm warring against the thoughts I think other people are thinking, but I don't know what anybody's thinking. So it's kind of like mine had to do with, this feeling of being controlled or, physically or even mentally controlled. That is, and when I think someone is doing that, my thoughts go to war with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay. And it's not about them changing. I just read Byron Katie, and she said, you can't stop your thoughts. You just meet them with understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about me meeting my thoughts with understanding. And I think that's heaven.
Beautiful.
But I think the work is the way to do it.
Yeah, because it's sort of like those, we don't have to turn off anything with a light switch or get to another thought, or we're just
right.
aware.
It's just about being with, like, I love Marianne Williams saying, I said it the other day, it's a temper tantrum in my head. And it's about being with that temper tantrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't really even matter what my statement is. Yeah. I'm warring against something in my head.
Yeah. You got it. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Judy.
Morning.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. So I'm sorry I missed the first part. My alarm was set wrong. Anyway, so I'll just read what I wrote here as I was listening when I sent that on. And I think around joy or finding joy. So I wrote, I don't think we find joy, but I changed it to peace. We uncover it within us, in the stillness, without a story. And that's been my experience. Done this work for many years. So feeling clear, calm, kind, open, allowing. Random openings, feeling unconditional love for no reason towards people I have and or still sometimes hold a story about. And my most recent example of that, I was in a Tai Chi Gong class, and all of a sudden, I wasn't even thinking of this couple, but I had judgment about them. Just facial expressions, I've been in musical stuff with them and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, all I could feel was this most incredible love towards them. And, it was just dropped in. I didn't cause it and, I've had a few of those experiences and unforgettable. And to me, that's the truth of who I am without my story. It's just, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And that's so a good little example Judy has here for wondering, being with who you would be without this story. My life would be better if. My life would be better if. And it doesn't mean something won't change. Resignation. I'll just live it the way it is, and like Eeyore. Who knows, but just the softness with I don't know. Gail.
So as everybody's been talking and I've been going around in my head about overthinking, in pops a slightly bastardized version of meatloaf's, I would do anything for peace, but I won't do that. I won't give it up. And it's so clear that I could just be like, and I'm done, and seen. But I won't. And
yeah.
that's sad.
Well, even that, just looking at that little thing, feisty part that just wants to hold on. Yeah, I'm not letting go of this. And it was like a little animal. Well, dog with a bone is a good one, or something. The monkey that won't let go of the banana and get its hand out of the trap. That's all right. Just I don't there's something kind of endearing about a tantrum. I know that's strange to say, but we'll laugh about it in cartoons or whatever. Just there's a part that's very intensely wanting to hold it and be compassionate with yourself with that part. Just have compassion with it. Cindy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Byron Katie ask this question for this topic. Now that there's nothing left to solve, what's left?
Wow.
It was real powerful because I'm always trying to solve things, trying to fix it. So,
Yeah.
thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it. If there's nothing to solve here, what's left? Who would you be without the story? What would you be without this thing going? We're better over there. What would you be without thinking? Without your imagination. Judy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, coming in late. I'm not quite sure where you are, so I apologize for if that, disrupted the flow. Anyway, right after I said all of that, I wrote, my life would be better if I always got my own way.
Yes. I think some others were finding the same exact.
Okay, oh, good. I'm in good company.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Aren't we so, it's so adorable, really. Like so cute. I want my own way.
Always.
Yes,
Oh,
always.
yeah. And if people always did exactly what I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
it's got to be exactly my way.
Yeah. Yes. Larry.
Judy, of course. Yes, I'm with you. What I got, and people have said something like this, but made me think of it. I just be happy. I'd stop pretending. I'm stop pretending I know it that I stop pretending that I know I'm not happy. Like I know I'm not happy. Well, I'd give that up. Right?
Yeah.
And then I've spent so many years comparing myself. If I just didn't compare, if I said this is happiness, this is it. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then just
Isn't that amazing? You have to have a thing to compare it to. You have to be referring to the past or somebody else's story that you heard about once or something you experienced and said, that was fantastic. That was paradise. Like Mary says, oh, no, let's try to go get it again. Or you'd have to be comparing to an image. It's an image. Not that there's anything wrong with thinking. Like Gail's looking at. Christine.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is the tantrum's over of not being able to have what I want. And yet I have just what it looks like naturally gravitated towards just shorter trips closer to home.
Sure.
I promised myself last fall 1 trip a month, and I'm keeping my word. And the larger trips, my kids said that they would go with me, meet me,
Yeah.
And so I have travel companions, two
Yeah.
great. And so, so it's not over. And I know it's not over, but I can see just even when I plan things, he doesn't get involved.
Yeah.
It's really evident. but he's willing to come, in the shorter trips closer to home. And that seems to be where seems to be no problems that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Still traveling, but also visiting places in the province that I haven't been to before too. So it's kind of opened up my world to traveling more at home,
Yes. Yeah.
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 Abroad and, yeah, no, it really has opened up yeah.
Kind of
So
fall.
there is a lot of good coming out of it.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Love it. Thank you. Janet.
I had a thought when Larry was talking to you about like what is happiness even, right? And thinking for me, I've had those peak moments where I realized I didn't have any problems to solve. At this moment, there's no problem, right? And so maybe if we can just stop seeing things as problems that need to be solved. I can't remember who else it was, but right, she's like, I like to solve things. So that's actually what's taking us out of the happiness is the idea that there's problems that need to be solved.
Isn't
Yeah.
something? Yeah. Just feel that sensation in the moment of no problems to be solved, just right now. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing required. Can't see.
Hi.
Hello.
I hope you can hear me. I have a little bit of a cold. This
Great.
whole thing about question 4 always gets me, and I realize that I'm living in question 3. How do I react? I'm living in that reaction. And in the story, um, in large part because I have no idea who I am. I have no idea. I haven't practiced that at all. So it's just like a familiarized
Yeah.
cycle of being in a reactionary, and it's the same, and it feels like someone else is doing it to me.
Yeah.
But now with more practice and even meditation and question 4 and the turnarounds, it's like I'm stepping into a whole new universe of a place that I've never been. And it feels strange because it's new. It is new.
Wow. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Can relate to that. Yeah. What if this I am, Livy said, I don't know who I am. And what if my mind doesn't have to really, have a whole thing formed about all that, but just I am. I am. Like in this moment right here, and all the swirl of everything that's happening in the world or life or whatever. Just, and that's very solid, very powerful, resilient. Bonnie said, when I'm always trying to figure it out how to be happy, it keeps me from the present moment where I can actually be happy. Yeah, without a story. Janet nailed it. Yeah. Nothing to seek, nothing to find, nothing to get, nothing to remove, nothing to avoid. And that's something. It's wild for the mind. I don't know. To wait, what? You don't need me at the moment? Yeah. Who would I be? What am I here? What's here without the story? And it doesn't mean stories are bad. Stories are amazing. A great story can inspire you to change your whole life. Who knows? But so we're not even saying those are wrong. But yeah, not seeing that as the only thing in town. So let's turn it around to the opposite. So It just wouldn't be better if that. Right here is good. We're kind of onto that already. That change is not required. And I also love the turnaround. That's already happening. Like it's underway. Nancy says it wouldn't be better because I'd complain about that too. Yeah, right. Right. Isn't that funny? We are so funny. I know. So all in good timing. This is so in other words, like, yeah, I don't know. That amazing thing that Byron Katie is saying and persistently continues to say, it's a friendly universe. So can I find any advantages even for the way it is now? And even just looking around and seeing what's wonderful and beautiful about here, just being right here. I am. Christine.
Yeah. And I think the rest of that is like, what is it pushing me into, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I can see like exploring here, but there's something like a deeper movement going on inside of me, just with him, because at first when it all came up, I was really quite angry and really just, what happened, and why aren't you doing more? And 2 years later, I can see that he just doesn't have it in him to do more, like even to listen to the experts' advice. And it's like, he's just okay with like the suffering. And it still shocks me, when he gets advice, and it's funny because I'll use some of it.
Sure.
What I'm realizing is just his path. Yeah, it's his path. And it is hard, to watch somebody decline. And it's not an easy thing for me.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's my life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, and my role in the big chess game of all of it is being the one watching in this situation, in this case.
Yeah. Yeah. And to not judge and just,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Larry.
Well, the first two turnarounds, my life wouldn't be better. Didn't worry about Carol. And then Carol's life would be better if I didn't worry about her.
Good one.
And then the third one I wrote was, I'm not really worried, which
yeah,
can that be true? I think, yes, I'm not really worried. I want to look at that one. I'm not really worried.
Yes. I just have a stream of there's like whatever worry energy is, it's something, and it's not all of me. It's just something that happens and then we label it. Anyway, it's a great one. It's a great one. Yeah. We say I am da 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 da, whatever it is, fill in the blank. Question that even. Is it true? And Sue says, thank you, everyone. I notice what makes a good life and what makes life good. And Gail, nothing to seek, nothing to avoid. This is happiness. And whoa, so simple and so foreign and so difficult to wrap my brain around. Yeah. I love, you let the brain, it's doing what it does. And then just notice that there's something very present that is like that. Not seeking, not avoiding, like the air in the room is just not doing anything. It's just being. Mary.
So I got some specific turnarounds for around my life would be better without migraine.
Mm.
And one thing that occurred to me is when we imagine these better futures without these things, it's like something else could have happened that would have been horrible. Like, life has to have played out exactly like I could have been hit by a car.
Uh-huh.
Like if I was doing something else and living differently, a variety of different things could have happened that would be terrible.
Huh.
In
Yes. Yeah.
And
Right.
then another, like, I don't control that, like, oh, you don't have migraines, therefore you have perfect happiness for the rest of your life and nothing else bad could ever happen.
Right.
So that kind of goes along with it.
Yeah.
And then another one was I might not be here doing the work if I hadn't had chronic migraine. And I really like that's I value that a lot.
Mhm.
And then I really understood that, like, illness may have protected me or kept me from taking a path in life that actually could have caused me a lot of trouble, different kinds of trouble, different kinds of, like, that illness might have kept me on a path that actually allows me to be more myself
Wow.
than the way, if I didn't have these restrictions, I could have gone full speed ahead in a direction that might have been sort of like less authentic or deep or who I really am.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow. I mean, I don't, it's like, ooh.
Yes. Amazing. Can I appreciate this sort of like, you can call it a handicap, like they say in game.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
appreciate that I have this experience.
Yeah. I don't really want to admit it, but there's a little something there.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks.
I can find now how I am I am so grateful to have a horrible eating disorder and all the other things that look, this is terrible that had happened. My goodness. And that is, but that, and sure, it looks like life for several decades has not included that anymore. But I know how I felt at the time. And it persisted as long as it needed to, and definitely was the beginning of recognizing something that I couldn't recognize before. Judy.
So I'm working with my life would be better if I always got my own way. So I turned it around. I just did one. My life wouldn't be better if I always got my own way. So I might be bored and arrogant, completely stuck in separation, neediness, hypervigilant, demanding, like I'm checking, is this going the way I want it to go? Selfish, living from an agenda, like a script of how I think the world should be. Interesting to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give that one up.
Yeah. I also think, gosh, and then what if anything didn't go, it'd be, I'd blame myself so much if it was all about me too. And if something happened, who knows? Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how great it is not to be the one in charge.
Yeah, amen to that.
So Yeah, everybody. I mean, just noticing, and it doesn't mean give it up. And although it is kind of fun to just imagine just giving it up, but it if it's, balance, and if balance is needed, the sailboat will come back to balance. The sail will, it's tipping way this way, it'll do what it needs to do. But how exciting to just look at that. Heaven, this is wonderful. I could stay here forever. Hell, this is not quite perfect. Yeah, just having fun finding what's okay about today, this moment. I am. Fantastic to be with you all. Good to see. Good to see you. Lots of love, my friends. Enjoy. Happy New Year. See you again soon.
Clarity once again.
Yay.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.